Good morning. Welcome, everyone. How are you? Remember that I'm Karina Ramirez from Dallas, Texas. Howdy, y'all. So, today we're going to talk. Let me just share over here. Welcome, everyone. Today we're going to talk about something I wish more people understood before they were ever told. Okay, that's what we're going to talk today about how pre-diabetes and diabetes type 2. Okay, that's how we're going to talk about today, because a lot of people don't really know how does the pre-diabetes and diabetes type 2 develop. Okay, so insulin resistance, and I'm going to explain this without making it complicated, because that's enough. We already have life, it's already complicated. So right here, it's no medical school vocabulary, no fear, no blaming, and definitely I'm not gonna diagnose ourselves on TikTok. Okay, so I'm just a metabolic coach that I'm gonna talk. Okay, right here on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Welcome, everyone. I'm just getting my tea ready. But yeah, okay, so that's what I'm not gonna do. I'm not going to diagnose. This is just a little talk, okay, that we're gonna have right here. So, but listen to this, familia. According to the latest CDC statistics, approximately 115 million Americans adults have pre-diabetes. Do you know that? Cheers to all of y'all. Cheers. And over here on Instagram, I should review in India. What is that statistic to know how many people in India are struggling with pre-diabetic and diabetes type 2? So that's in the USA, okay? So that's more than 2 out of 5 adults, familia, and more than 8 out of 10 don't know they have it. Imagine that. Probably you know that, because probably you know anybody in your family, your siblings or neighbors or coworkers are struggling with that. So think about that. Millions of people are walking around with blood sugar that's already outside the normal range, and they don't know. Let me know in the comments if you have heard anybody that is struggling with that. Let me know in the comments if you are struggling with that. I would love to read. I would love to know who is struggling with this. And quick question: when was the last time you had your A1C checked? Let me know in the comments. When was the last time that you checked your A1C? Type A, within the last year. Type B, more than a year ago. Type C, I don't know what my A1C is. That's something true too. So right here, I don't judge anybody. I just want to see where everybody is. Okay, so look at these CS. There's a lot of CS right here that they don't even know what are we talking about. What is A1Cs? Okay, so this is why we're having this conversation. This is why I'm here on this morning, Monday morning, beginning of the week. So let's talk about this, okay? Before we go further, here's my disclaimer, and then we're moving on, okay? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm not diagnosing anybody. I'm not telling you to stop your medication. I'm not saying anything about that. And I'm definitely not telling you that this live replaces your physician. No, familia. This is not that. It's just information. This is just for education, okay? From my experience, this is where we're going to start, okay? So my job this morning, it's much simpler. Okay, that's what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so I want you to understand your body well enough to ask better questions. That's what I would love to teach you right now, because if something we discuss sounds familiar to anybody at home, don't diagnose yourself. No, write it down, ask your health provider, and get appropriate testing. Okay, information should make you be more prepared, not more afraid. That's what I want to do right now, okay? For you to be more prepared and not afraid of, okay? So let's start at the very beginning. You eat. Yeah, everything starts where we eat, okay? Let's imagine we're eating rice, beans, tortillas, fruit, bread, pasta, potatoes, whatever. Your digestive system breaks carbohydrates down into smaller molecules, including glucose. Okay? So glucose enters your bloodstream, and glucose isn't the enemy. Okay? Your body actually uses glucose for energy. But glucose needs somewhere to go. Okay? That's where it comes. That's where insulin comes in, okay? Now, your pancreas produces a hormone called insulin. Your pancreas, okay, produces a hormone called insulin. Here's the easiest analogy. This is the easiest analogy for everyone that could understand what is that. Imagine insulin is a key. Insulin is a key that glucose is outside the cell saying, hey, I have energy for you. So, and insulin helps signal the cell so glucose can be taken up and used for storage. Okay. Hello, hey Shahil, welcome. Good morning. Hey, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Right now we're learning about insulin and all these metabolic issues. Okay, so thank you so much. So after you eat, glucose rises. Your pancreas responds, insulin rises. So your body handles the incoming nutrients. That's normal physiology. That is normal. Okay. If you are not struggling with that, that is so normal. But does that make sense so far? Let me know in the comments if I lose you or something. Let me know if this is making sense for you. Okay. So now, type key if the key analogy makes sense. Let me know in the comments if this analogy about the key insulin is the key for the cells to let glucose in. Let me know if that's okay for you. Okay. Now, perfect. Let me see. Because now we're going to understand insulin resistance. Now we're going to learn about insulin resistance. Imagine this happening over and over and over, waiting for more information. Yes, excellent, Shahil. Thank you. Imagine this is happening over and over because you're eating all the time. Okay, so that key insulin is the key for those cells to let glucose in. But if you're doing that all day long because you're eating, imagine how is your body struggling with that. Eventually, in insulin resistance, cells in tissues such as muscle, because they become muscle, fat, or liver, don't respond to insulin as effectively as they should. Okay, so what does the body do? I know that you might be asking, what does the body do at that moment? It compensates, okay? The pancreas may need to produce more insulin to accomplish the job, okay? That's why insulin resistance doesn't necessarily begin with dramatically high blood glucose. Your body can compensate for a period of time, okay? So remember the analogy. Here we comes with another analogy. Imagine somebody ringing your doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong. Okay? You listen to that, you hear that, then imagine somebody ringing it constantly. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Eventually, the same signal isn't producing the same response. Don't you think so? That's not a perfect biological analogy. Your cells aren't literally ignoring the doorbell, but isn't an easy way to understand the concept of reduced responsiveness. Okay? So, who had heard the term insulin resistance but never really understood what resistance means? Let me know in the comment. Type me on the comments. Type me. Can you listen? Terry saying that he. Yeah, that's him. So now, hey, quiet, Terry. Now we're getting to something social. Hey, quiet, Terry. Now we're getting to something. Hey, Terry, quiet. I'm sorry about that, familia. I'm sorry about it. So now we're getting to something social media gets wrong constantly. People make videos saying 7 symptoms that prove that you have insulin resistance. But yes, that's something that I do. That's because I was struggling with insulin resistance, okay? So that's where you might be, you're like, hey, I don't think so that's real. I don't think so. But yes, familia, I struggle with insulin resistance for more than 19 years. More than 19 years. So remember, there's even though, according to National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Disease, people with insulin resistance and pre-diabetes usually have some visual symptoms like skin tags, darkness, pigmentation, hair falling down, a stubborn belly, FAT, a belly fat, fatty liver, high cholesterol, high glucose, high triglycerides. There is a lot of things, feeling tired all day long, craving sugar, craving carbs. This is something that feeling tired is one of the main things. I remember because I was feeling that way. I was feeling that way, so now I know and I understood that there was something on my body. Okay, so fatigue, it could be an excellent tool. Well, guess what, Shahil? I'm already in one. I already have 15 months taking my protocol. 15 months. I used to be a size L of clothes, large. Now, since I started taking control of my metabolic health, I'm a size S or extra small. Yeah, I reduced 4 sizes of jeans. I did because I was struggling with insulin resistance and I didn't knew that. That's the thing. I looked fit, I looked thin, but it wasn't. I was all the time inflamed. I was all the time with bad circulation until I understood that there was something in my body yelling at me. So fatigue, it could be a sign of insulin resistance. Craving sugar, it could be a sign of insulin resistance. Hair loss, it could be a sign. Brain fog, familia. I used to struggle. And when I was a server, I was working as a server. Oh my God, I always forget everything. So let me know in the comments if anybody of you struggle with that. Let me know. Same here. You don't know about exactly. We don't know that. We don't realize that because that is something that we're not learning. They're just like, okay, you're feeling like that. Here, take this little Tic Tac. Drink this every 8 to 6 hours. Drink this Tic Tac. That is not fixing anything. That is just covering all the symptoms, and you need to address the root cause. That's yeah. We don't know exactly. I understand. Don't worry, Shahil. Don't worry. But like, can somebody let me know if you're struggling with that? I would love to read that. Okay, but instead of asking what symptoms proves I have insulin resistance, I want you to ask, what risk factors and metabolic markers should I pay attention to? Okay, those can include like a larger waist circumference or excess abdominal weight, physical inactivity, family history of type 2 diabetes, PCOS or PMOS. I'm struggling with all the symptoms. Yeah, I know, Shahil. I understand. I understand because, like I said, imagine right here in the US, 150 million of people in USA are struggling with insulin resistance and they don't even realize it. During sugar tests, do we need? Yes, exactly. Exactly is RAM. That is so important. It is. I don't know if you're telling us or it's a question, but yeah, you need to do that. And right now, maybe as you know, it's not, it should be a daily concept, like to take when we go to the physicians and they take our vitals, our blood pressure and our temperature. They should take that too, insulin resistance test, but they don't do that. They don't do that. But yeah, if we ask for it, they're like, you're not a physician, why you're asking for this? But it's so important for us to know how are we working on that. So yeah, thank you for that. Woman, PCOS. I was struggling with PCOS or PMOS. I was struggling with that. You should need to know too in history of gestational diabetes, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, low HDL, and certain of other metabolic conditions. Okay, there is also a visible scan finding called acanthosis nigricans, darker, thicker, velvety looking skin that often appears around areas like the neck, the armpits, that can be associated with insulin resistance. I don't know if anybody's struggling with that. I remember I was starting to get my neck a little darkness and my armpits. I was like, what? Why am I struggling with that? What is that? What is happening to me? I didn't understand what was happening to me. Believe me. I was like, okay, I'm just going to buy a lotion that will take me that dark pigmentation out of my skin. And I didn't knew that there was something that my body was screaming for help. So but again, one sign isn't just right here. I'm not here to diagnose. I'm talking about my personal experience, okay? I'm not diagnosing nobody, okay? Because I'm here on TikTok. I'm not saying anything for anybody. That's my personal experience. But Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, that's my experience, okay? So just be aware of that. So let me know in the comments, has anybody ever heard a physician explain the connection between triglycerides, HDL, blood pressure, and blood sugar? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever heard about that? Type yes or type no if you have ever heard that a physician explained the connection between triglycerides, HDL cholesterol, blood pressure, and blood sugar. Type yes or type no. Well, this is exactly why metabolic health needs to be discussed as more than one number. This is why it's so important, okay? Now, let me come back to something because I know somebody is thinking, but sugar reset girl, I'm exhausted. I crave sugar. I'm losing hair. I have brain fog. I get weight around my middle. Those experience matters, okay? There are reasons to pay attention to your health. That is so important, familia. These reasons to ask questions, okay? But now, fatigue alone can have many causes. You know, hair loss. There's more things where we eat, how we shower our hair. Cravings, sleep problems can have many causes. You know that sleep apnea, it's another response of insulin resistance. I don't know if you know that. So here's what we're gonna do, okay? Now, get your notes out. Get your notes out and screenshot this part mentally. Obviously, mentally. These are numbers every adult should at least recognize. Okay, so if you're ready, if you want to do this like a screenshot in your mind, or if you got a little notebook and a pen, write it down. Okay, let's see. Let's start with A1C, familia. A1C gives us an estimate of your average glucose exposure over roughly the previous 2 or 3 months. Okay, so according to current diagnostic criteria, below 5.7%, it's a normal range. Okay, did you wrote it down? Below 5.7%, it's a normal range. 5.7 through 6.4, it's a pre-diabetes range. Okay, familia? So now, 5.5% or higher, you're in the diabetes range. Remember, I'm not here to diagnose nobody. I'm not a doctor. I'm not nothing like that. I'm just here teaching you and learning together what is this, what is metabolic health, what is happening into our body. Okay, familia? So now, and one abnormal number doesn't always mean somebody should diagnose themselves. Remember, no, always go to your physician. In the absence of obvious hyperglycemia, diabetes generally requires confirmation with abnormal results. Okay, so here's an example. Imagine that your labs say A1C 5.9%. Don't panic. Don't ignore it either. That's information. Right now on the weekend, I just had a new client on the protocol that she's from Mexico. She sent me all her labs results and everything. And she's just like, oh my God, she's on the limit for pre-diabetic. She is 5.6, but she has her insulin resistant numbers high. So familia, you need to know that we need to be aware. And she was like, hey, you know what? I need to pay attention to this. I want to start the protocol. I want to do this because I don't want to have it higher, because my physician said that I'm just at the limit of developing something else. Okay, familia? So remember, don't ignore this information. That's a conversation with your physician's provider about what is happening and what can be changed. Okay, you could do that. But remember, not always it's a TikTok. No, it isn't, because that's for the symptoms. We need to go to the root address of that. Okay, we need to address the root cause. So now, does anybody actually know their last A1C? If you want to share it, put it in the comments. Put in the comments if you remember what was your A1C, your last number, okay? But remember, we are not diagnosing anybody here. We are not. We're just talking. We're just chilling. We're just friends. I'm the Sugar Reset Girl based in Dallas, Texas, and I'm here just to talk with you, okay? Now, the next number, fasting plasma glucose, okay? Pay attention to this. This is a measure after fasting. Generally at least 8 hours for diagnostic testing. Okay, here are the range. Remember, you could just write it down or just take a screenshot mentally, okay? 99 mg over DL or below are normal, okay? That it's a normal range. 100 to 125 mg over DL, that could be a pre-diabetes range, okay? Obviously, 126 mg over DL or higher, that's in it, that will go on in the diabetes range with appropriate confirmation when required from your physician, okay? So now, this is a real life example, okay? Now, let's say somebody tells me, hey, the sugar reset girl, my fasting glucose was 108. Okay, I'm not going to say, oh, you have diabetes. No, familia, I'm not going to say that, okay? I would say, okay, 108 falls within the fasting glucose range used by pre-diabetes screening. Talk with your physician about the result and your overall picture. And then we introduce a protocol. This is a natural protocol that it could go with the same thing that you're taking with your physician. It could go at the same matter because remember, familia, this is something natural. Okay, this is something that it doesn't have any sugar added. It's gluten-free, it's vegan. Okay, but we're going to talk about this later. But now, let's see. Now here's something really important, familia. Your A1C and fasting glucose don't measure exactly the same thing. A fasting glucose is basically a snapshot. That's what it is, okay? So now, pretend that we are here like, click. No, it's like a camera. It's like you took a picture. What's your glucose doing at that moment after fasting? A1C give us a broader picture of glucose exposure over time, familia. Okay, so somebody can sometimes have one result that looks okay and another that raises questions. Okay, that's one reason physicians don't necessarily evaluate metabolic health using one insulin number. Okay, so now there's another test called an oral glucose. Okay, okay, there we go. Somebody wanted to join. So there's another test called an oral glucose tolerance test, OGTTT, for their response for, okay. For the standard diagnosed test, you consume a measured glucose drink and your glucose response is evaluated, okay. At 2 hours, 129 mg over DL or below is normal, okay, normal range. 140 over 199 mg over DL, pre-diabetes range. Over 200 mg DL or higher, diabetes range, okay? And again, these are diagnostic criteria used by physicians, okay? They are not instructions for you to perform some homemade live glucose challenge. No, that is not, okay? I'm just here to share some education about what I've been learning from time, okay? Now, please don't drink a bunch of sugar at home and DM me, oh, your glucose, because that is not, okay? That is not. Now, here's the term people confuse with these numbers. Glycemic index. Glycemic index, is in your A1C. It's not your fasting glucose. It's a way of comparing carbohydrate containing foods according to how strongly they raise blood glucose under standardized conditions, okay? Now, here's an example. Think about how differently your body may handle a sugary drink versus lentils versus vegetables versus bread, okay? But there's another important lesson. Food isn't eaten in a laboratory. It isn't. We combine foods, protein matters, fiber matters, fat matters, portion size matters, food preparation matters, the rest of the meals matters, okay, familia? So I don't want you becoming terrified of one food because somebody told you it's glycemic index, okay? No, don't terrified about that. Now, somebody is going to ask, all right, the sugar reset girl, why does my annual physical tell me whether I'm insulin resistant? Great question. That's a great question. Here's something interesting. NIDDK notes that healthcare professionals generally do not directly test for insulin resistance in routine clinical care. Direct insulin resistance tested is used primarily in research, okay? So clinically, doctors often evaluate the bigger picture: glucose, A1C, lipids, blood pressure, weight, medical history, risk factors, and another testing appropriate. Okay, this is also why you should take one fasting insulin number you saw somebody discussing online and diagnose yourself. Okay, now let's talk about the word pre-diabetics. Okay, is anybody is struggling with pre-diabetes? Let me know in the comments. Okay? Sometimes people hear pre-diabetes and think, "Oh, I'm fine. I don't actually have anything." No, familia. Pre-diabetes means glucose regulation is already outside the normal range, but it hasn't crossed the diagnosis threshold for diabetes. And here's why I care so much about this conversation, familia. This is where I care, because current CDC data estimate 115.2 million Americans adults have pre-diabetes. Okay, more than 2 in 5 and more than 8 in 10 don't know. Imagine that. More than 8 in 10 people don't even know that they're struggling with pre-diabetes or diabetes type 2. This is enormous. This is huge. This isn't about shaming people. This is about awareness. And we need to know that. We need to know that, familia. Think about this as a continuum rather than an overnight event. Healthy glucose regulation goes down, reduced insulin sensitivity may develop, the body compensates, glucose regulation can be deteriorating. Give me just a second right here. Pre-diabetes, for some people, eventually it will become type 2 diabetes, okay? But progression is not inevitable. Not everyone with pre-diabetes develops type 2 diabetes. And lifestyle intervention matters. Your lifestyle, your habits, that is something that you need to be aware of, that, familia. It is. Now, here's where wellness culture screws this up. Yes, this is where everything screws up, okay? People hear insulin resistance and suddenly bananas are bad, potatoes are bad, rice is bad, tortillas are bad, fruit is sugar. Now, we're not building another food prison. We are not. We're not building that. What matters is the overall pattern. That's what it really matters. Food quality, fiber, protein, movement, sleep, meal structure, total intake, consistency. That's what it really matters. And yes, carbohydrate quantity and quality matter too. But metabolic health isn't improved by becoming terrified of a mango. No, it isn't. It's not. Let's talk about fiber. Fiber is fascinating because different fibers behave differently. Okay? Soluble fibers can interact with water. Some viscous fibers form a gel-like matrix in the digestive tract. Did you know that? Let me know in the comments if you already knew that. There's different type of fibers. There is not just one type of fiber. There's different type of fibers. Normally in the stores, you will find a weight of fiber that it's only mixed with water and that become only that. But I know a great fiber that it's more than 7 soluble fibers that it will interact and become a gel. And it's so good and delicious. So remember, some viscous fibers form a gel-like matrix in the digestive tract, okay? That can affect things like digestion, gastric emptying, and the absorption of nutrients from a meal. Fiber-rich foods also support the gut microbiome, okay? Now, here's a real-life example. Compare the next thing. Drinking apple juice with eating an apple. What's the biggest difference in that? Drinking an apple juice or with eating an apple. Same fruit family. We have the same thing. We have a juice and we have the real fruit. But it's a completely different physical structure, okay? Because whole foods come packaged with things like water, fiber, and cellular structure. That's one reason I keep saying, stop looking at food as only calories. Stop doing that. Here's one of the latest glamorous wellness strategies right here on the lives on different platforms, okay? But walk, that's it. Don't you think so? Your skeletal muscle is one of the biggest places your body can use glucose. So regular physical activity matters tremendously for metabolic health. You need to move. You need to stand up. You need to walk. You don't need to turn every meal into a CrossFit competition. No, you don't. You don't do that. I don't do that. Believe me, I don't do that. Take a walk, use your muscles, build strength, move consistently. Is that boring? Well, maybe, but effective lifestyle, is that effective lifestyle foundation? Absolutely, familia. This is what your body needs, okay? This is especially important for the next topic, muscle. Muscle is metabolic important, okay? So this is especially important for women as we get older. Muscle isn't just about looking toned. Muscle is metabolic active tissue. We need that. Okay, so resistance training helps preserve and build muscle and improves the body's ability to handle nutrients. Okay, so if your entire health strategy is eat less, eat less, eat less, and never build muscle, we're missing something important, something really, really important. Who's doing a strength training right now? A strength training right now. Let me know who is building that. Type lift in the comments. I would love to read that. And if you're not, type start if you want to start now, because this is something that we can't just leave it on the side. No, familia, we don't. Okay, now let me irritate everybody with something nobody wants to hear. This is something like I see every time when I talk about this. They go out of my lives, and it's okay. I don't care. It's okay. But this is for you. This is a big gift for all of y'all. So you cannot supplement your weight out of sleeping 4 hours at night. You can't. Okay, sleep matters. Sleep matters a lot. Stress matters. Movement matters. Food matters, and your environment matters. Okay, this is why I don't like when wellness conversation that reduce everything to just stop eating sugar. No, familia, don't do that. Human metabolism is more complicated than that, okay? You could do it, but you need to know at what moment. That's why this is a lifestyle. This is no diet. This is something that you will learn how to do it, how to drink, how to take naturally sugar from your fruits. But you need to know that you can't break your fast with fruits. No, familia, you could eat fruits at the end of your meal, but not break your fast with fruits, okay? So now, let's talk about something I personally use, okay? Time restricted eating or intermittent fasting. I love intermittent fasting. I really, really love it. Intermittent fasting simply means intentionally creating periods when you're eating and periods when you're not. That's it. And this is so easy peasy, lemon squeezy. For example, some people use a 12 hours overnight breaking, some 14 hours, some use 16-8 schedule. Longer is not automatically better. I normally do 18 to 6. That's what I normally do. 18 hours of fasting to 6 my window eating. That's what I normally do every day. Okay, familia? So more extreme, it's not automatically healthier. No, familia. Okay? You need to be taking care of that. So I don't know if you're taking some TikTok, the little one every time. If you have any health conditions, anything. So this is why I view fasting is a tool. It's an excellent and it's a natural tool that you could add to your daily day. Okay, familia? Now, here we go. There is one reason we're going to talk about some doctors, Benjamin Bickman, Jason Fung, Dr. Carlos Jaramillo. One reason I started becoming fascinated by this topic is because different educators and researchers have pushed the conversation beyond simply asking, okay, what's my glucose? I know everybody will have that question. Professor Benjamin Bigman, whose academic research focused heavily on insulin and metabolic physiology, frequently emphasized insulin resistance and hyperinsulinemia as important pieces of metabolic health. Okay? Dr. Jason Fung has helped popularize conversations around insulin, fasting, and meal timing. And this for a Spanish speaking audience may know Dr. Carlos Jaramillo, who talks extensively about metabolism, insulin resistance, and lifestyle. Okay, so but I don't want you following any personality blindly. Okay, don't them, not me, not anybody. Okay, learn, familia. This is why this is a learning life. This is an educational life. Okay, compare the evidence, ask your physician, and understand on your own labs. Okay, if you don't feel comfortable, like, okay, this is a protocol because this has some certifications. This is gluten-free. It has more than 65 clinical studies, the protocol that I'm just going to talk in a moment about, because this is something that, well, not all the physicians knows about. Okay, so if you remember nothing else from this life, remember these 5 things. Just keep these five things. Okay, hey, Praveen Kumar, hello, welcome to my live. Thank you. Okay, remember just 5 things. Okay, you don't need, if we were like, oh, what is she talking about? It's just early right here in Texas. It's 9:30 in the morning. So probably we're like, I'm just waking up, girl. I don't know what you're talking about. But okay, number 1, know your numbers. That's one thing. Know your numbers. Okay. A1C, fasting glucose, blood pressure, triglycerides, HDL. Learn those numbers. Okay. Now let's go to number 2. Don't diagnose yourself, okay? Listen to your body. Look at those flags that sometimes your body is telling you, okay? Number 3, move your body and protect your muscle. Move your body and protect your muscle. That is so important, familia. Number 4, pay attention to food quality. Protein and fiber, not just calories. Pay attention to that, familia. That is so important. And number 5, build something you can repeat. Build something that it could help you be consistent. Build something that it could be a great tool for your lifestyle. Build something that it could help you to your daily day, to your routine, familia, okay? Because a perfect wellness routine you follow for 6 days is less useful than a good routine you can live with, okay? So now you may be wondering, the Sugar Reset Girl, why are you so passionate about talking about this? Because I didn't learn about metabolic health because I wanted another topic for social media. No, I didn't. I started paying attention because these conversations became personal to me. Like I said at the beginning, I was struggling with insulin resistance. When I share my own story, I remember, my experience is my experience. It isn't proof that somebody else will have the same outcome. That's really important, familia. Okay, so now what you notice, what made you start asking questions, what you learn, what habits you change, what your routine looks like today. Do not instruct it. That's what you need to ask yourself. Okay, that's when you need to see, like for me, I was struggling with my insulin resistance. I was feeling tired all day long. I was craving sugar. I was craving carbs. I was struggling with different type of things, familia, that I was having a stubborn belly fat. My hair was falling. I was struggling with different type of issues. I was with skin tags, dark pigmentation. And when I started this nutrition supplement, this is a protocol. This is a 2-step protocol that if you would like to know more about this, you could just go to my profiles and you will check on it. You could just go and check the link that is over there, YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. That's where you will find it. Thank you for tapping on the screen. Thank you. Hey, it's BB. Thank you. So yes, familia, this is what I actually changed. People always ask me, all right, the Sugar Reset Girl, so what did you actually start doing? Now I'm gonna tell you what I started doing, okay? My answer isn't one magic thing. It isn't. I started paying attention to my body. I started listening to my body, to when I ate, to what I ate, to fiber, to protein, to movement, to fasting, to consistency, to how my body was responding. And yes, I also found tools that became part of my routine, because familia, you need to know that it's not always it's not a willpower. It isn't. It isn't. It's your body that it's screaming for help. Okay. So now, one of those tools for me has been the Feel Great system, the Feel Great protocol. This is what I have been taking now for more than a year. Okay. This is where I wanted to be really clear. The Feel Great protocol, this is not medication. This is food. This is nutrition. Okay. And if you're struggling with insulin resistance, if you're struggling with any pre-diabetic, diabetes type 2, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, fatty liver, if you're struggling with PCOS like me, I was struggling with that before. Well, this is something that I have been doing now for more than a year. Okay. Almost a year and a half. Okay. So the reason it fits into my routine, this is much simpler. This is much simpler. It combines two nutritional products with a lifestyle practice. It's so easy. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. Unimate. Like right now, I'm fasting. Yesterday, my last meal was at, I think, 6. Let's keep it at 6 in the afternoon. 6 in the afternoon. That was my last meal. Okay. So right now I have 12, 13, 14, 15 hours and a half that I'm on my intermittent fasting. And I'm just drinking my Unimate, my tea. That's what I'm drinking right now. Then this is like I said, it's a 2-step and a lifestyle practice. Unimate, balance, and time-based eating, my intermittent fasting. So now I'm just gonna show you right now I made my pomegranate Unimate, but I'm gonna show you the lemon, okay? Lemon Unimate. Remember when we talk about plant compounds in my last lives? Unimate is a concentrated yerba mate extract. Yerba mate naturally contains compounds including chlorogenic acids, theobromine, saponins, and naturally occurring caffeine, but it's not the same effect as the regular caffeine. The reason I like teaching what's inside is because I don't want somebody buying something because I said, trust me, girl. No, that's two. I have been doing this for more than a year now. Okay. This is what I've been doing lives. I have been taking my protocol. I have been doing this as my lifestyle now. Okay. So understand it, ask questions, read labels. Yeah, that's what I always say. Read labels. Okay. Now, balance. And I don't know if you remember all my chatting about my conversation about fiber. This is why balance made sense to me, familia. Balance orange flavor, okay? Balance provides a blend of soluble fibers, including things like war gum, locust bean gum, citrus pectin, oat fiber, beta glucan, okay? Plus other plant derived polysaccharides and gum arabic. It also contains phytosterols and a range of vitamins and minerals. It has more than 13 vitamins and minerals. More than 13 vitamins and minerals, okay? So after eating, we just learned about fiber. So after everything, we just learned about fiber. Now you understand why I'm interested in this protocol. I'm not randomly just drinking yellow packet and an orange one just because somebody in the life told me. No, this is what my body is actually looking for. Okay, this is a tool in my routine, everyday routine. I take 2. Let me show you. Give me just a second. I'm gonna show you the other one. This is what I do every day. This 3 sticks and my lifestyle practice that it's my intermittent fasting. Okay, so remember, this is a tool in my routine, not the entire routine, because I do intermittent fasting. That's an important distinction. Okay, if somebody buys some supplements but sleeps 4 hours, that is not gonna work. Remember, sleep, it's really important. More than 7 hours, familia. More than 7 hours. If that people doesn't move, eats poorly, ignores everything that are like us as coach are telling you, and expects a packet to rescue them, no, that won't work. This is no magic. This is no miracle. This is a tool, a natural tool, familia. Okay. So that's not the message here. Nutrition supplements as nutrition should supplement. Okay. They don't replace the fundamentals. This is a tool that it will be in your daily day, in your routine. Okay. This will adapt to you. You won't adapt to this. Okay. So now, if you're watching me and you're already being if you're already struggling with pre-diabetes, diabetes type 2, insulin resistance, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, fatty liver, PCOS or PMOS, well, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you some access to this. If you already want it, this is something that you could find on my profiles, on my different profiles. You could go and check them. You will go and find the links there. Okay, but yeah, so this is what I've been doing now for more than a year. So if you want to start this, you could just right here tap where it says start here in Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You will find it right there. So, all right, we've covered a lot right now. Let's see who has paying attention. Let's see who was paying attention. Does anybody know? Question number 1: what A1C range is considered pre-diabetic? Pre-diabetes. Does anybody remember? Remember, I was a teacher before. Remember, pre-diabetes is in the range of 5.7 to 6.4. Okay. Question number 2: what fasting glucose range is considered pre-diabetes? Do you remember? No? 100 to 125. Okay. Question number 3: does being tired means that you're struggling with insulin resistance? Is that one of those symptoms? Tired all day long, every time? Well, yes, familia, that's a symptom. Now, question number 4: is glucose the enemy? Remember, no, familia. Question number 5: what's one tissue we really want to protect for metabolic health? What is so important in men and in women? What is that tissue that we need to be taking care of? You remember? Muscle. Look at you guys graduating from the Sugar Reset University. Yay! So if you just joined, welcome. Right now, we were talking about insulin resistance from the beginning to everything, okay? So we've covered what insulin does, what insulin resistance means, A1C, fasting glucose, pre-diabetes, fiber, movement, muscle, sleep, fasting, and realistic lifestyle tools, okay? And here's the number I want everybody person coming to hear. More than 115 million American adults are estimated to have pre-diabetes, and most don't know. So if you don't know your A1C, that's not something to panic about. It's something to become curious about, okay? Ask, test appropriately, learn your numbers. That's what I want you to take from this live right now. I don't want you living this life afraid of diabetes. No, I want you leaving more informed than when you arrive. That's what I want you. That's what I'm going to be doing this educational lives. I want you to know what A1C means. I want you to understand what fasting glucose means. I want you to understand why insulin matters. I want you to stop diagnose yourself for anything that you're struggling with. And I want you to understand that metabolic health isn't built from one food, one supplement, or one workout, or one perfect day. Okay? That isn't. It's building through patterns. That's what it is, okay? And patterns can change. If tonight made you think, if this morning made you think, I need to start paying attention to this, good. Thumbs up for you. That's great. That's exactly why we're here. Learn your numbers, ask better questions, build realistic habits. Okay, and work with your physicians when something needs more attention with. That's what the Sugar Reset Girl is about. Okay, I'm the Sugar Reset Girl. I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and I'm here to bring you different types of information. Okay, so here we go, familia. This was my live. Thank you so much for joining my live right here in English. Remember, I'm the Sugar Reset Girl. I'm based in Dallas, Texas, and I'm here to help anyone that wants to understand what insulin resistance, what is those numbers of the A1C, what is those glucose numbers in fasting, what is intermittent fasting. I'm here to help you, and I hope you join on my next live. So thank you so much for joining my live. See you later, alligator. I will go to my next live, but thank you. This was my educational live, okay? Don't forget that I'm Karina and I'm behind the Sugar Reset Girl. So thank you so much for joining my live. Thank you, TikTok. Thank you for joining my live. Thank you, Joven Israel. Gracias por verlo por aquí. Bendiciones. Thank you, familia. See you later, alligator. God bless you all. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. On Instagram, remember, if you want more information about the protocol that I'm taking, you could just tap right here where it says start here, or go to my profile on my bio. On my bio, you will find the link. Just tap on it, and right there is where you're going to start starting with this, okay? We do deliveries to all India and in more than 65 countries, okay? So if you're ready, Eddie, to start this, just let me know in the comments, and it will be my pleasure to help you. Thank you so much for joining my live, and I'll see you later on my next live. Bye-bye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. Thank you. Now, YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much for joining my live. As you know, I'm Karina. I'm behind the Sugar Reset Girl. Yay, yay, yay. If you want to try my protocol, you could just go to my bio on my profile on YouTube and on Facebook, and you will find it there. Just click on it and let's start this together. I become your metabolic coach when you buy the protocol with me, and we're gonna do it together. We're gonna do it together, okay? So thank you so much for joining my live. It was a pleasure being this morning with all of y'all. Remember that I'm based in Dallas, Texas, so I'll see you on my next live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goodbye. Bye-bye.